All right, so welcome in, welcome in. Here we are, and we're gonna go ahead and pick some people. So we got one that's already good at agriculture. That wouldn't be a bad person to start with. She has increased machinery, so that's not horrible. Definitely don't like either of these two to start, so we're gonna go ahead and start re-roll. I'm gonna start here. We're gonna re-roll Abe here. I'm looking for someone who's good at digging, or someone that's good at building, construction. That's what we're looking for here. So, and I really only want one interest. I don't want multiples. Oh, machinery. That might be useful. And let's see what else we can get here. Excavation. So that is exactly what we want. We want someone with excavation. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and re-roll this one too. Ooh, man. All right. Well, let's see what else we can figure out here. Athletics, cuisine. You know what? I might go with this here. So we got two diggers. I think that's what we're gonna start with here. And we'll call this one. I don't know. Let's call this one. Yeah, there we go. Let's go ahead and get started on this guy. Alright, so go ahead and give this a quick pause here. Zoom out and we got a lot of water right around us to start. We're really close to this other biome here, which I don't super like. Got a decent amount of iron and coal, or copper and coal right here, so that's not terrible. Alright, so I think what we're going to do to start with is we're going to go ahead and dig out, and we're going to go ahead and dig out about like that. And first thing I want to do is my priorities. She is going to be my builder and my operator. These two are going to be my diggers. So let's get started here. Digging some stuff out. Oh, that was a... Let's get them going here. And right off the get-go, I'm going to do a space, a hole, a space, and then first thing I want to do is I want to get a couple outhouses in here. Actually, let's cancel that outhouse. Let's put it here. And the reason I'm going to start off with some outhouses is because in the first day you gotta be able to use the bathroom, otherwise they're going to be causing pollution all around, and we don't like that. So you notice the one that's prioritizing building is going to stop digging and start building. Alright, let's go ahead and stop that for a minute. The next thing I want to do is I want to get my ladder down here so that I can kind of build this way a little bit and get into this copper and this coal. I want to collect this copper and I want to collect this coal. I'm also going to go ahead and harvest this bristle blossom here, as well as these when I get to them, because I'm trying to dig out and not have to grow food right away. I'm trying to make sure that I harvest enough food. All of these little spots like this, that have that symbol have something in them. It could be food, it could be something else, but it has something in it. So we're going to make sure that happens. I'm also going to go ahead and, even though I can't use it quite yet, I'm going to build that wash basin right here. We also want to go ahead and get this ladder going up a little bit. So let's let them start going on that there. Now at the very beginning here, one of the things that you're going to be interested in is you want to make sure that you keep an eye on your algae. You're going to want to make sure you keep an eye on your coal, and you want to make sure you keep an eye on your dirt when you get started. These are all things you're going to need to build your base. Alright, so let's pause it for a minute. Let's look for organic stuff. We got algae here, lots of algae. Okay, we should be okay. And I think I'm also going to dig out kind of this whole space here. We'll go, you know what? Let's not do that yet. It's fine. When you first start, you've got this oxalite that's producing oxygen for you. So you need to get an oxygen generator quickly, but you don't need to get it immediately. The first cycle, really, usually my goal is to gather some resources. So I also want to pay attention to here dirt and coal. So at the very beginning, that I want to pay attention to a few resources. My first goal is to grab some resources, get the restrooms available, get the sink available. Yeah, I am gonna go ahead and uproot those suckers real quick. I don't usually build a lot of floors right away, but in this particular case, I'm going to. Only because I want to have a spot here. I can also dig out those two spaces. I want to have a spot here where I can have some bedrooms, a little bedroom. So one of the things you're going to watch, especially at the beginning, is you want to watch the morale of your duplicates. You want to make sure that they have pretty good morale. So we're going to go ahead and build some floor across here. Number one, that'll let them dig this out a little bit better, but number two, it'll keep it kind of level and even. And you're right, gentlemen, you definitely don't want anyone tinkling in the workplace. That's a bad idea. Alright, I think the last thing I think I want to do here is I want to put a door. You know what? Yeah, I just want to put a door. And I want to get these folks a couple of cots here to start with. Give them a place to sleep for the night. They won't get the morale bonus quite yet because I'll need to enclose this before they get that morale bonus. But that's okay. And we'll dig a little bit like so. Get a little bit more copper. Over here, we're gonna do a little. There we go. We close that like so, and you'll notice once that's enclosed, this is gonna turn into a barracks, and that's gonna give everyone a morale bonus. As soon as that's built, you'll see this fill in with this greenish color. And that should give them a morale bonus when they're in that room. And the same deal, we're just going to do just the parts of the floor we need. Alright, so now let's... I normally want to dig out 4 high, But right here, I'm only going to dig out 3 high right now, and that's because I don't want to expose more of this oxalite. I want to let this slowly leach into my base, and I don't want to burn through it too quickly. Oh, I also don't like this sand right here. Oh, for guilties, thank you for the follow. Welcome in, welcome in. We're doing a quick little new base walkthrough. All right, so now this wash basin actually does need some water. So what we're gonna do here is we are gonna go ahead and ladder down right about here, and we're gonna put a pitcher pump in here that'll allow us to get some water for the wash basin. And that's typically what I like to try and get done on the first day. Is I like to try and get enough done so that I have a place to sleep, a place to go to the bathroom, a place to wash my hands, and a way to get water for that place to wash my hands. This one is a little bit unique because there's so much water right here. I would have much rather kind of gotten down to this one, but I wish it was up a little bit higher. This one will be much easier to get to. And as you see, I didn't quite get that built before the downtime happened. But that's okay. Oh, did it again. Forgot. So they're using the restroom, they're eating, they're doing their thing. I actually want to change that so they only use the sink when they're coming out of the toilets. Our germs, they've got a little bit of germs on them, but that's okay right up front. And now they're going to head down here and they're going to catch some Z's. We'll go ahead and speed through the night real quick. Let them have their naps, let them sleep and whatnot. Alright, now they're waking up. We'll put them back on normal speed here. The reason we want to watch our dirt at first is because we're going to start doing some farming here soon. And farming is going to take a ton of dirt, so we need to make sure that we have enough dirt, because we need to make sure we produce enough food to sustain our colony. Now, it's super important to be able to do that. Just going to go ahead and get some water. She's going to fill up the old wash basin here. Now, because we have this wash basin, the other thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to have a spot to drain the yuck water, if you will. Man, there's more water over here. Gee, any Christmas. There's water everywhere in this one. Oh, I don't want to get into that yet. Huh. So I guess... Man, I guess I'm going to try and get it over here somewhere. This is super not ideal. And then we also want to get into farming. And I'm going to show you all a little trick for food and how to deal with food spoilage. This is something that I learned and I think it's really cool. So in fact, let's do that first. So let's dig out like that. And then we're going to put in like that. And like that. those 2 spaces there. And I'm going to need a ladder like that. What this is going to allow us to do is this is going to allow us to build a new ration box down here. And all of our carbon dioxide is going to trap down here, which doing that is going to allow for, probably going to have to build one more, I think. It's going to allow for the food to really not spoil. It's a way to put off needing refrigeration for a while, and I've come to find it to be super, super useful in several things. Alright, so now he should be able to get out of there. We've got this prepared. Next thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to set up a little manual generator. Put that sucker right there. We're going to put a single battery on there, and we're going to put a research station along with an oxygen generator. And then we're going to go ahead and wire these all up. And this should last us for a while as far as our oxygen needs go. Because we're going to start digging out a whole bunch. And there's other ways that we'll be able to get oxygen. But it's really important to get the research going pretty quick. Especially because you need to research farming. You need to research food storage. You need to research all kinds of things that help you progress your base. And then the other thing we're going to do is we're going to call for someone to recharge this. We're going to drop this all the way down to 25%. So until that battery gets below 25%, it's not going to call for someone to come over there and try and charge up that battery. The reason I'm doing that is because I have only 3 duplicates, and I don't want to have a lot of time spent running on this wheel when the battery's at 50 or 60%. There's plenty of battery left at that point to still run things. Alright, so now let's go into the research here. First thing I need is farming. Without question, first thing you need to research is basic farming. Oh, someone's calling me. I don't know who you are. So I'm just going to not answer that, since I don't know that phone number. Alright, so now we've got oxygen generating. If you notice, we got oxygen getting generated. We got carbon dioxide. It's already pooling down there, which is exactly what we're looking for. We want it to pool down there. The reality is I'm probably here also going to dig down here so that the oxygen is going to pool down here as well. Stay out of my base. Give it a space to pool up. We've got Frankie here doing some farming research for us, and basically we're just gonna keep digging, and we're gonna keep expanding outward. The whole point in this stage of the game is just let's keep expanding outward. Let's keep expanding outward. Later on, we'll talk about how to do some creative water recycling and whatnot. There's some nifty little tips and tricks in the game that can be super helpful for water. And we're going to go ahead and dig out like that. That gives a nice big channel for the carbon dioxide to come down. It also helps with fire. We were later in the game where we'll build fire poles so that our dupes can get down quicker. Giving them the ability to move around in this game is pretty important. Alright, so now we've got this going. We got a little bit of time left, so let's go ahead and dig out that. And let's actually just go ahead and start digging it, way the heck out here. Yeah, you can absolutely turn airlocks sideways, which are super helpful. I'll actually use that in my little water generation thing. It's kind of a unique way to do it. It keeps several chambers separate from each other, so that you move water into one chamber, and then you heat it up to get rid of any germs. Then you move it to another chamber and you cool it down, and then you move it to a third chamber where it sits as reserve, and you move it to the fourth chamber where it's actually getting pumped out. So you get this little cycle going. It's kind of interesting. It's also a lot of fun, and it's a really good way to get like a little almost oxygen or water recycling going on. Yeah, I also, you need to stop accepting any food because I don't want them to run over. And in fact, let's just deconstruct that guy completely. Yeah, let's give that a higher priority. Now, eventually I'm going to break this piece of the ground so that the oxygen diffuser gets up here, but I don't want to do that yet. I want to first open this up and have this carbon dioxide kind of fall over in this area so it fills this real nice and solid. That's the goal here, is I want to fill this real nice and solid with CO2. Eventually I'm going to drop this water down. I'm going to drop this water down and kind of make a water pit in this here area is probably where I'm going to put it. But we're not there yet. Looks like they're done for the day, so they're going to grab some food. So we'll go ahead and fast forward through their downtime and their nap time. Research here. We're getting there. Keep an eye on your algae, since you need algae to produce oxygen. It really shouldn't be a major issue at this point in the game, but it will at some point become an issue if you don't pay attention to it. Dig out. Oh, you know what? I don't like that because of the way it's laid out. We can dig out a space of 3 for now. So we're going to need to put a spot. We're going to need a spot where we can put polluted dirt here in a little while. I suppose we'll put one piece in just to fill that up. Now, I am a And no, by no means an expert at this game. I've been playing, I enjoy it, but there may be more efficient ways to do things. If you have any more efficient ways, please let me know. I'm always open to suggestions and ideas. I just found that this is kind of what works for me, and you know, if it works for me, it tends to. I tend to stick with what works, if that makes sense. Excellent. So we got a nice little spot over here. Oh, we dug out some more algae. That's even better. So one thing that I do sometimes like to do is I like to try and get some storage kind of right by what it's gonna, you know, what things it's gonna need. So I sometimes will do that. Not always though. So for now, let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 5, 6. This will be 26 right there. So we're going to dig 2, 3. I'm counting 26 because I like 26 as the size of a room. Alright, so now we've got that research completed. That allows us to do things like build this ration box. Let's deconstruct this. We're going to also need to research. The next thing that I usually am going to research is colony development, because I want that water cooler. Let's give this a little bit higher priority here. And we're going to also put a ladder right there. So I want a ration box down there. Build my compost heap down here. I'm just going to go ahead and clear out those little exclamation points because I don't want to sit there and look at them all game. Awesome, and now I want anything edible to go in there. Now that I've done that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to dig out, and I'm going to kind of just try and dig out so it falls this way a little bit, gets a little bit of momentum falling that way. So I kind of want to dig out like that if possible. So I want the carbon dioxide to get trapped around this as much as possible. You can kind of see how it's going, and some of it's going this way, which is what I'm hoping for. All right. So now we're just gonna. Oh no, that's a bad idea because of where that is. All right. So let's talk about what we can get here. You don't necessarily always want to take duplicates. In fact, a lot of times it's a bad idea to take them, especially early in the game. You don't want to take more duplicates unless you have the oxygen and the food to support them. Right now, I'm not growing any food, so I'm just relying on being able to harvest food and finding it while digging out. So it might not be the best idea to grab a new duplicate at this point. So I'm just going to go ahead and take these here seeds for now. I do think I'm going to put a storage bin right here. And that storage bin, I'm going to collect all of the seeds. Alright, so what I want in here is seeds. This way my duplicates are now going to run around and collect seeds, and they're going to throw them in this storage bin. We're going to have a storage bin full of seeds. I hate that this is actually 1, 2, 3, 4. So, so we're going to dig like that. Let's go ahead and put another storage bin right here, and that one we're going to put algae in, so it's real close to the oxygen generation. Don't have enough carbon dioxide down there yet. Again, we're just trying to make CO2 traps. That's all we're trying to do here. That we want this whole area down here to look like this. Just, you see how this is looking? This is what we're wanting. The redder the better. If we can get all that CO2 down in there, that's going to kill a lot of the food poisoning germs on our food. And it's going to be tremendously helpful for our duplicates. Long term. Alright, well they're now on their nighttime routine, so we're going to go ahead and fast forward through the evening. We're going to go ahead and queue up digging that out. Unfortunately, we're going to have to put in a couple of places of base. We're going to leave a space there, so we're going to need to put a piece of base right there. And then we're going to dig... We're going to probably dig all that out, and we will need some base right there, probably a piece right there. Now you'll notice that this carbon dioxide is going to start building up and splashing into here some. We're going to do something to take care of that, but not quite yet. Why am I don't know why I'm still running in fast forward. Let's slow this back down a little bit. Let's do the middle speed. It might be a little bit easier to pay attention to. Have them going a little bit quicker, but not ridiculous. All right, go ahead and put that ladder right there as well. Got a good amount of dirt. We got some fertilizers, not a ton, but that's good. Awesome. So now we've got some crafting station, and we got the water cooler. A little tip about the water cooler. The water cooler allows you to build this mess hall, which is a morale bonus, but it also allows you to build this rec room. The rec room gives you really good morale bonus, and you don't have to leave the water cooler enabled, which is even better. So what I'm going to do, but in order to get the rec room, I also need to research decor. So we'll get that decor going as well. And we're going to build a rec room, and we're going to build that rec room probably right here, I think. It's probably where we're going to do it. Oh, we may as well, you know what, we may as well get that copper mined as well, because you're going to use a lot of copper in this game. You'll notice we've got a ton of oxygen. We've got plenty of oxygen in our base. We got a little bit of carbon dioxide floating around here and there, but it's nothing major. We're starting to get it here, which could potentially be a problem, except for we do have these algae terrariums, which we're going to use one of, but not quite yet, because there's other ways we can get oxygen. I am, however, my duplicants hate it when I do this, but I am, however, going to dig down, or going to ladder down like that, and I'm going to open this up some, make more space down here for the carbon dioxide to pool, to keep it out of my base, especially considering we just opened this big cluster pile of it, and it's all going to filter down, and it's all going to fall down into here. So let's go ahead and cancel the rest of this for now. Let's go ahead and cancel that for now. And let's get this built. And my duplicants are going to be mad at me because I'm sending them, I'm going to send them into the water and get them wet. But, you know, it is what it is. Yeah, see, she's angry. She got wet. And what we're going to do is we're going to dig out that. Might even dig out like that. Yeah, that's probably good. And that's going to lower the water level so that more carbon dioxide can pool down here. Alright, so now we're actually going to turn this. We're going to move these outhouses back there. We're going to destroy, let's destroy that one to start with. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually enclose this, turn it into an actual bathroom to get the morale bonus. We're going to turn this into a washroom. I'm sorry, latrine. And we're going to get that morale bonus. Because coming up here soon, we're going to start being able to give our duplicants skills. We're going to start getting points. And we'll be able to give them skills, and we'll be able to allow them to do more things. But that takes morale, so... So we're going to build 3 outhouses. Let's give those guys a little bit higher priority right now. So our little builder lady starts going to town. Now we've got excellent. You see how that water level's dropping as we do this? May as well just murder him now. Put him out of his misery. Don't let him drown. That's mean. Deconstruct. Again, we only want them to use it when they're going out of the restroom. We'll get rid of that one now so we can close it off and get the bonus. Now this is going to create some polluted oxygen. And we don't really want that right now in our base. It can cause issues, but unfortunately right now we don't really have a place we can put it. So we're just going to have to kind of deal with it, unfortunately, for right now. We're going to go ahead and go like that and create a washroom. Later on, we'll actually start getting into filtering out some polluted oxygen, getting rid of it, getting it out of here. Alright, so now we've got some of the basics researched. The next thing that I want to go ahead and research is these farm tiles. And the reason being is I want to start farming. That's going to be my next goal. And in order to do that, I'm going to use these farm tiles. I'm also going to go ahead and build boom, boom, boom like so. And we're going to do a water cooler and a flower pot. We're going to turn this into a rec room here. And we're going to get some additional morale for that. So now you should see we have a latrine and a barracks. We're going to make a restroom here, a washroom here. At this point, I might actually dig this out just a little bit further, get one more cot, and I might at this point grab one additional duplicant. We also have now some skills we can get. Alright, so Lyra here, she can get improved tinkering, which is +2 to machinery. So if she's using a machine, she'll get a bonus. Early on in the game, it's probably worthwhile, although I do need to get a farmer. So I'm actually going to give her, instead of gaining a morale point, I'm going to go ahead and give her farming. She still has plenty of morale, but this way she's able to farm for us when we build these farming plots. And we'll go ahead and we need to dig that one square out there too. And we've run out of power, but that's okay. I'm not super concerned about running out of power. We have plenty of oxygen right now. We'll go ahead and prepare and build one more cot, you know, always best to prepare ahead to be ready for it, right? So going ahead and doing our research, we're creating our oxygen. Our dirt's looking good, our algae's looking good. We need to mine more coal before we can switch off of manual power and onto coal power. But we're going to need to do a lot of things before we get to that point, so I'm not super concerned about that piece yet. I'm going to give this one square priority. Because I want to make sure this gets fully enclosed. And then we're going to go ahead and give the flower pot priority as well. I want to get this room bonus going on up in here. And then we're going to go ahead and give the flower pot priority as well. I want to get this room bonus going on up in here. And then we're going to go ahead and give the flower pot priority as well. I want to get this room bonus going on up in here. And then we're going to go ahead and give the flower pot priority as well. I want to get this room bonus going on up in here. And then we're going to go ahead and give the flower pot priority as well. I want to get this room bonus going on up in here. And then we're going to go ahead and give the flower pot priority as well. I want to get this room bonus going on up in here. And then we're going to go ahead and give the flower pot priority as well. I want to get this room bonus going on up in here. And then we're going to go ahead and give the flower pot priority as well. I want to get this room bonus going on up in here. And then we're going to go ahead and give the flower pot priority as well. I want to get this room bonus going on up in here. And then we're going to go ahead and give the flower pot priority as well. I want to get this room bonus going on up in here. And then we're going to go ahead and give the flower pot priority as well. I want to get this room bonus going on up in here. And then we're going to go ahe ahead and plant the briar seed, and we can disable this water cooler so it doesn't use up our water, because you got to think of water as a precious resource at this point in the game. But I still get the bonus. If you'll notice, I still have the Rec Room bonus. It's a super useful thing that doesn't necessarily take up but one delivery of water. God, I can't think right now. Man, I don't know why. But in the end, it's super, super worthwhile. All right. So now we've got our rec room, we've got our latrine, we got our barracks. Oh, someone else earned a skill. What do we got going on here? So Frankie, we're gonna allow Frankie to dig, and we're going to allow Marie to dig. So they'll dig a little bit faster on the normal stuff, but they'll also be able to dig the harder stuff, because we're gonna want to dig up. We're gonna want to keep digging up. So actually, let's go ahead and start that. Let's dig up like that, and then dig this one out, those two out, and we'll start with just 3. We're gonna have to go ahead and lay down a couple of tiles there. And if I have a good duplicate at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and get him. Building speed, and she's creative. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get nails here. And that's really going to enforce that we need to big time start getting the excuse me farming going. We're also going to put a double door there and a double door there. Is it under? I never remember. Is it where it's under? Is it under food? Did I not get it yet? I might not have gotten it yet. Yeah. So we're gonna make a little mess hall right here. I'm also going to go ahead and dig over like this and dig that out. Combine these two water things, give it a bigger chute for the CO2 to go. Alright, we'll let them take a nap. We're going to start talking about schedules here. We're going to make a new schedule where bath time is there, downtime is there, and bedtime is there. And we're doing that because once we get a 5th, we're going to move 2 of them down to a different schedule so that we're working more 24/7. Not everyone's working all the time. And then priorities, I haven't gotten it, so her priority is going to be building. Alright, so now we got our farm tiles, but we've also got our mess tables. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4 right there. And then we're going to need food, we're going to need some farming tiles. So we're going to go, let's go ahead and go like that with the farming tiles. I don't think a mess hall needs... Yep. So mess hall's done. We're good there. We're going to cancel that last farm tile because I want them to be inside. We're going to grow mealwood. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and get research these bigger batteries, and then we're going to get into advanced research pretty quick, because the next big thing we want to get into is ventilation, and specifically this decontamination. So first we're going to get the bigger batteries, then we're going to get that advanced research for the decontamination. And we need to make sure that we're getting these seeds planted. Oh, I'm getting text messages. When am I getting? Indeed, they are. Yeah, so we're wanting to make sure we plant. We're going to start off with all mealwood, and I don't recommend that you do the old food producer because it uses a lot of power, and you really don't gain that much from it. So I typically just don't bother with it. They're going to eat this mealwood for a long time, and then I'm going to switch them over to bristle blossoms eventually. Once I have my water system set up so that I can irrigate the bristle blossoms. But what's important about irrigating the bristle blossoms is you need to make sure that you have them at the right temperature. Because if you don't have them at the right temperature, then too hot or too cold of water and they won't grow. So temperature of your water is super important. The reality is we're going to want to keep digging up. And we're going to want to keep digging up. Super important. 96 tiles. Alright, so do I have that yet? I don't. I'm gonna go ahead and... No! Cancel. That was stupid. Man, I can't click today. That should be 4 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that should be under 96 tiles, so that should turn in. Once I get that station, this will turn into a greenhouse. That'll give us yet another morale bonus. More place for that CO2 to keep going. That's super important. You always want to have a spot for that CO2 to go. You'll notice I'm going to try to avoid breaking into any of these other pods right now. It's not going to be super useful to do that. Alright, so got that research done. So now the next thing I need is advanced research. And you'll notice my calories are still going up. It's because I keep finding things like muck roots when I'm digging this out. So even though I don't necessarily have enough food growing yet, I'm in the process. I'm laying the groundwork to grow that food. I'm laying that situation. I'm getting it ready. And in fact, I'm starting to grow it, but it's not going to be there yet. It's going to take some time. Those are going to be a priority. Beautiful. I think what I really want to do is dig this out some more, drop this in, and build my wastewater tank kind of right here. They're not going to be super happy about digging underwater, but that's okay, because they're not going to drown, and that's the important thing. All right, we can't dig through that. So the reason I want to get up here, I might have to dig in such a way that I don't know, get this over here. That's going to be a problem. But the reason I want to dig up here is I want to get up to the top so that I can start ventilating off the gases I don't want and I don't care about. Like all this carbon dioxide, it's not good for anything in the game, really. I guess I can't say it's not good for anything. There are some uses for it, but not till way later. And you're always going to produce it. So, F it. Get rid of it. Excellent. Alright. And now it's just a matter of we continue to dig and build and clean things up and do this, that, and the other until such time as we're able to do what we need to do. Let's make this a little bit better for them. Let's kind of build some ladders over here too. Yeah, I know, you're cold. Deal with it. Suck it up, Buttercup. Let's cancel. Screw that. Let's cancel that. We're almost there. You know, that's probably good for now. I don't need to beat a dead horse here. Alright, and the same as before, I really don't want any more of these guys right now. So I'll buy some eggs. I'll have some eggs created. And it looks like at least one of my... Oh, so she can get decorating, which isn't going to help me a ton right now. I'm going to go ahead and give her carrying so she can bring more stuff to my things as a supplier. What I am going to do though is I'm going to have to build this over, dig that out. Man, I am going to have to do this. In order to really do what I want to do. Fertilizer around there. There's some fertilizer over here. Alright, so there's still a little bit of fertilizer to be had. But once this research is done, then I can research. Okay, so okay there. Than anything up there. get some stuff going. And like I said, they're going to get hypothermia, but it's not really that big a deal at this point in the game. It's not game breaking. It's not going to kill them typically. Just to kind of clean this up a little bit, though, it's really super worthwhile. Because then what we're going to do is we're going to build up like so. And this is going to be able to give us a dumping ground for our nasty water. So I'm going to hollow this out, then I'm going to enclose it after all the water falls through down to here. And then this is going to be, we're going to have an emptier put down here, and this is going to be where our nasty water gets dumped. This polluted water here that comes off the sinks, and it's right next to the bathroom, which is going to be important later, because what we're going to do is eventually we're going to replace these with flushing toilets and washing sinks. And you can use dirty water in both of those, and duplicants don't care. I'm not really sure how it works or why it works, but it does. It looks like we've got our jumbo battery now as available, which is fantastic. We can go ahead and cancel those right now because it's not super important at this point in time. Our food is going to, excuse me, always be just, excuse me, slightly higher priority than everything else. And our power should be higher priority. So without power, we have no oxygen and we die. And that's a problem. We don't want to die. So they're all sleeping right now, which is fine. Let them nap, whatever. A lot of this game is queuing up things, planning it out, and then letting it happen. Still doing okay on oxygen. Probably could use a bit more. There goes the water. We need to make sure we dig this crap up so water doesn't get trapped in there. Well, it's not that it's super end of the world if a little bit of water gets trapped in there. It's all fairly tepid water. We don't need to build that one. We can now do one of those. Excellent. Go ahead. Like that. We're going to dig out this. Do need to close off the restroom. I'm gonna go ahead and make that a real tile, and this will be our ladder in. Not that we're really ever going to need to come in here, but I normally don't close off any building entirely, right? At least not right away. So now I can do boom, boom. And we can deconstruct that ladder. Another thing we are going to do, don't have it yet, is we are going to before we completely close it. Well, we're actually not going to completely close it off, but normally before we completely close it off, we would build a pump down here before we put too much crap in there. This way, you have a pump, and this is going to be a closed circuit. So it's going to pump water up and into the rest facilities once we build the nicer ones, and those rest facilities are then going to flush back into here. I know it's kind of a dick way to do it, it's kind of a jerk move, but you know what? Yeah, let's go ahead and close that off now. Who is messaging me now? Oh, the Brewers won. We got a bourbon review I'm going to have to check out here in a little while. Alright, so now we're going to pop a bottle emptier there. So it empties directly in here. I want everything on the floor here to get moved into storage. And at this point, we're going to need to build a couple of storage bins. So let's go ahead and build those. And I want consumable ore, metal ore, raw materials, and then I want to copy those settings to these other ones. You are going to take anything bottled and you can dump it in there. So now we've got our duplicates moving our materials into these little storage bins. We've got some food growing. We don't have a ton of food growing yet. We're not near to the point where we are self-sustaining, but we're starting to grow some food. We've got a wastewater containment unit. We've got some fresh water that we haven't even touched yet. We're not using yet. We've got the fresh water we are using. We got a bathroom. We got a rec room, a latrine. We got a barracks. We got a mess hall. Things are looking like we want them to at this point in the game. So now what we're going to try and do is we're going to try and build out a research station. So we're going to dig to here. And I do want to do that. Alright, what do we got going on up in here? We're going to get some nutrient bars since we're not ready for another duplicate at this point. This may let a little bit of water out. That's okay. It's going into here. Eventually we're going to move away from this little thing and we're going to get our water from here anyway. So it's not really a big deal if it moves down into there. Because eventually this is all going to become used space anyway. Honestly, I don't really need to build. Actually, I don't really need to build those walls. If I'm going to be honest with you, I probably don't need to build those either. It's more of an aesthetic thing. And if I'm not mistaken, I should have perfect. I can build a supercomputer, but I can also build a big ass battery. And that is super important at this point. That big ass battery, I am going to have to replace that one tile though. Because now we're going to start using more power, so we want to be able to store more power. So our duplicates don't have any, they're not sick, we have very low stress, we don't have many of them, but we don't have a whole lot going on where we need a ton of them yet. We're still just exploring out, we're still just slowly growing. We've got plenty of algae, we're starting to collect coal, we got plenty of dirt for our farm. We need to keep an eye on the algae because there are biomes that have a ton of algae and slime in them. And we're gonna need to get to that at some point, but not quite yet. We're not quite there. What do we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is where we need to put the base, kind of like so, and then we can do 1, 2, 3, 4, and let's dig it out to there. We need super high on that build. Super high priority on that build. Thank you. So the supercomputer is going to use a little bit of water, which is not a big deal, and you notice we don't yet have a duplicant who has advanced research. So that's going to be our next thing, is to be able to do advanced research. But in the meantime, I don't care about internal combustion quite yet. I don't care about any of that quite yet. Let's go ahead and get basic plumbing out of the way for now. So the faster I can get off of these and onto a closed loop sanitation system, the better off I'm going to be, because I'm not producing this polluted dirt and this polluted water. Let's go ahead and sweep that stuff. Sweep that one too. Sweep that one too. Let's get that over here. Let's give that stuff a bit higher priority. So let's get that sucker moved. Let's go ahead. We don't want either of those two things there. Yeah, get that over there. Absolutely. Let that son of a bitch drain, man. And I'll probably turn this into the top tank of my water supply and kind of just build it straight down from here. When we get to that point, I usually end up with two water supplies, one near the bottom of my base, or one lower in my base and one up higher in my base. Excellent. Excellent, excellent. You'll notice how much better this big battery is as far as longevity, and they don't have to run as often. We'll have to run more once they start using the supercomputer. That does draw a lot of power. You know, where go to the power overlay. You know, it draws 120 watts versus 60 on the regular, so it draws a decent amount of power. But you know, you got to get the research going, and that's super important. We're gonna go ahead and plant a few more of these. As we gather the seeds, we just keep on planting and keep on planting. Eventually, we're going to start ranching as well, because ranching is a great way to produce coal. And once we start producing coal, we can switch over to some coal power, and that opens up a whole new part of the game. Oh, I don't want to dig that far. I don't want to dig in that crap. Alright, so how am I doing on the fertilizer? I don't have a whole lot. So before I get any more duplicates, I'm going to build a second set of cots, probably over here, because I don't want them all sleeping in the same place. And that is kind of on purpose. Because we want to have some sleeping here, some, and they can spread out along amongst the base when they, as the base gets bigger and bigger and the jobs get further and further away. We can just keep adding duplicates further and further away in places to sleep, and they can all go toward and work toward near where they sleep, and it really ends up working out well for them. All right, so we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna need a space and a double pneumatic. Oh, glad you like that, Mr. Snoo. It's helped me out several times doing the double doors like that. I'm gonna also go ahead and dig those two pieces out, and those two pieces allow the better oxygen and carbon dioxide flow, but they can still get through, which is exactly what we want. Alright, what do we got? Some skill. What kind of skill do you have? Okay, so you've got farming or whatever. You've got a lot of morale, so we're going to make you do some researching there. That researching comes in super duper handy here pretty soon. And we've now got our plumbing set up, which is fantastic. So before copper, what does that give you? The temperature. Okay. Before we get too much water in here, we're going to go ahead and get this built. And now we can do get our fertilizer going on then. Get these plants growing a little bit better. Now sometimes I'll get rid of a couple of these and put an algae plant in here to eat some of that carbon dioxide. I usually don't do that a ton because it doesn't really produce a whole lot of oxygen, and it uses a lot of resources. But sometimes it's worthwhile. So it kind of depends on the base and the resources around. There's so much water just right here. I mean, look at all of this water. You know, I very well might do that in this one, but I'm not. I don't know yet. So we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. My food, my calories are still going up pretty substantially, so I'm gonna go ahead and build a couple more cots over here. I'm not gonna fill them right away, but I'm just gonna prep for some additional dupes. Honestly, probably won't fill them for a while still, but never hurts to be prepped for it. Alright, so let's go to my priorities here. Yeah, looks good there. And just so I don't keep getting alerts from it, I'm going to go ahead and deconstruct that. I'll go ahead and build some extra mess tables, so when that shows up, we're good there. Yeah, I've got a lot of these hatches around. I'm going to want to get into farming here pretty quick and get into some coal generation. this will be the perfect size for our first ranch. So I'm just going to go ahead and... I don't want to do that. So we're going to go ahead and... I'm going to go ahead and set up our ranch like so. We'll fill those in. You notice I did a double, and there's a reason for that. When we start ranching, you're going to want to ranch in one, wrangle them to another, and then kind of, you'll see, but we're going to essentially kill them for meat. And yeah, we basically turn into murderers. I mean, let's call it what it is. We're gonna murder our we're gonna murder our stuff for meat. Yes, I do know they die naturally over time, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna ranch. And in this size of space, we're going to put like 6 or 7 of them in there. And then as they hatch, we're going to move down to here, and we're going to fit 6 or 7 more, so that we've got a constant supply of coal. And then as they continue to grow and lay eggs, we're going to drop the eggs off in a little thing. It's essentially going to be a drop-off point over a door with a manual opening, and it's going to have a little spot with water in it, so when they hatch, we open the door, they fall into the water, they drown, and boom, bada bing, we get meat. And then eventually we're going to automate that so that we don't have to do anything, and they just drop automatically, and we get delicious, delicious meat. So let's see, this guy's a digger, so we're also going to give him carrying. She is also a digger, but we're going to need bigger digging here coming up, and she has the morale, so we're going to give that to her. Do we have any more seeds yet? No, we don't. What do we got coming on here? Okay. Don't care about that yet. Construction speed might be good. I'm going to go ahead and get Rowan, and now we're going to pause this because now we're going to take Rowan, and we're going to take... Oh, shoot. Who are our 2 diggers? 2 diggers are Marie and Frankie. Okay, so we're going to take Frankie. So we're splitting up our schedules now. And Nails has... she probably needs the morale right now, so we're going to go ahead and give her the morale. Rowan here can do construction or research. I've got some researchers, so we're going to give him construction right now. All about that death machine with ranching, because eventually I want to get my colony to where I'm living on the murder meat. I kind of eventually want to get to the point where I'm not worrying about farming anymore. I'm just producing enough murder meat that I can survive and I can sustain my colony. And if I can get to that point, then I'm in a good spot. I'm probably getting close to needing some fertilizer. Yeah, I don't have a whole heck of a lot left. So we're going to go ahead and ladder across. Dig that out. Ladder down and dig that out. Exactly. See, you understand. Feeding them rocks. Eventually, though, I'm going to want to get the smooth hatches because they can refine metal for you, and you don't have to use any electricity refining metal. So you get the hatches to produce rock hatches, and then I'll move them into a separate ranching area. And if you can get them, you start feeding them ore, and they'll eventually produce smooth hatches. And you move them to a different area, and the smooth hatches, if you feed them copper ore, they'll produce copper. They'll poop copper. If you feed them copper, they'll produce refined copper. So you can kind of produce metal without having to, actually pay for it in the electricity charge. And you're right, Slightly More Pleasant Texas. That's a phenomenal name. I wish I could change it right now because I like that. Alright. I want to pay attention to my fertilizer as well. I'm hoping this research just finishes quick so I can get my little fertilizer production going on in here, my micro fertilizer thingy, and then I don't have to worry so much about the fertilizers. But yeah, eventually I'm going to have hatches and I'm going to have fish. And I'm going to I've even done it sometimes with the little lightning bug things. And I basically breed them to turn them into meat. I also tried, and it didn't work out great, but I tried catching a bunch of lightning bugs in a small area and putting solar panels around them, and it does produce electricity, but it's not super reliable, so I don't really like that idea too well. All right. This is going to be a problem. They're all right here, and I want to go through them. I think I'm going to have to dig up and over and then drain this and then drain that and then up again. So I think I'm going to dig to there. Yeah, so you can use the lightning bugs to power solar panels. It just doesn't work super well. You need to get a whole shitload of them in a very small area, and they stop shining when they get too overcrowded, so you can only get so many of them. So your solar panels don't run at optimal efficiency, but you can produce power that way. I was able to get about 8 of them in an area about this size, and they still produced light. And I put a solar panel in there, and I got about 180 or 200 watts off it, though. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It's power produced through sadness. They were sitting there crying and crying, and it was fantastically awesome because, free power and whatnot. I mean, it really is free power. Oh, Jesus. Stupid sand. calories are still looking okay. It's a lot of muck root. I think once this, yeah, get that stuff out of there. Get that crap that you can get out of there before you. You know what? I'm gonna also. Where's sand? Filtration. Let's also put sand in there. So I'm gonna get this water out, and we're gonna. Over here is where we're gonna kind of build our power plant. Is going to be, we're going to build across here, and then like that, and like that. Get rid of that one too. That'll drain it into here. Then I can build up and drain this one and then keep going up. I'm going to have to also move over and drain that one. I'm trying to get up to the top. For, like I said, I want to be able to vent carbon dioxide out of here. And I also want to be able to... requirements, fertilizer, dedicated room. Do I even have 5 kilograms of fertilizer? Yeah, I do. Okay. Put you right there. But I want to be able to vent carbon dioxide out into space, which is a huge part of how I get rid of it and I manage my base. And eventually I will have ventilation through automation, and it's kind of cool. I figured out a way that you can use the gas element sensors to filter different gases into different areas of your base without having to use the gas filters. So eventually you don't need to use, and let me pause this real quick, let's go into here. Eventually you don't need to use these gas filters in order to separate gas. They are really heavy on power. Instead, what you can use is you can use these gas element sensors along with where is it? I never remember where shit is in here. These gas shutoff valves, those two together, and it basically opens and lets one block of gas through, so you can filter out your gas using the combination of those, and you can have about 10 of those for the electrical power cost of a single one of these stupid gas filters. It makes some of the natural gas and hydrogen power generation way more worthwhile. So it's just an FYI. Later on in the game, you'll see me do that, and the whole idea is to yeah, exactly, efficiency through creative fuckery. I really like that. All right, so I am definitely needing some additional oxygen now, which kind of cheeses me a little bit, but it is what it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get those tiles going, because I'm going to go ahead and I'll take it from down here. Those are going to be much higher priority. So we still have use of our tables there. Yeah, this game is very much about finding ways to kind of use the resources to your advantage in almost in a fuckery kind of way. You know, I hate to say it that way, but it's the honest to God truth. You kind of have to have a little bit of fuckery. Alright, so I need to have crop tending. Who's going to get that? Alright, so maybe Lyra will get that. She's got a ways to go before she'll get there. Okay. Oh, you give them their hats? I don't normally give them their hats, but okay. Let's see here. He is going to be he's going to be a digger. We'll give her the farming hat. We'll give her the digging hat. We'll give her the carrying hat and the construction hat. So there you go. Stupid hats just for the gentleman. Uh-oh. Who's messaging me now? Alright, so we just kind of slowly get things going. You'll notice I'm still on the single generator at this point, because the only things I really have using power are my research and my 2 oxygen generators. Eventually, that's going to end up changing, and we're going to build a power plant. I think we're going to build it over here. I think we're going to get all of this water into this centralized pool and kind of put our power plant in this area here. And we'll talk about the power plant later. We'll talk about how I do different layers. I do coal power, hydrogen power, natural gas power, and petroleum power, all in the same power plant in different areas, and I do it that way for cooling purposes. It's much easier to cool one big room. But before we get to that, I need to have all kinds of other research done and everything. Alright, we're getting over here. That's good. It's going to allow us to do what we got to do. Yeah, keep that polluted oxygen up there, mother effers. Let's see. Let's talk about researching. Do I want to? Where is it? Do I want to get into decontamination yet? No, I want to get into sanitation first. So eventually what I'll do is I'll run power up here, and I'll put a couple of the decontaminators up here, and they'll provide oxygen for this whole area. Alright, so I don't need those anymore, because that's working. So now we're going to go ahead and ladder up right there. And like so, that'll push it down into there. Now I should start to get more oxygen. Beautiful, beautiful. Good solid oxygen. I like it. Little CO2 trapped up here. Not done on purpose, but hey, it works. And if you notice, these ponds don't have germs in them. The naturally occurring ones don't have germs. The poo and pee water that you create does. So you don't want to combine those. That little thing looks funny. That's been bothering me. Good, we're starting to get our calories up a little bit. Excellent. Fish falls down there. Fuck you, fish. I'll build you up like so, and then across. And then we'll dig like that. Drop that down. Okay, there we go. What do you got here? Dust cap? Yeah. Alright, clear new. Oh, what do we got going on here? Alright, is there going to be any duplicate worth getting? I don't like you. You can run fast. You can do construction. Yeah, narcoleptic. Yeah. Man. Running fast. Now, I'm just... Can't be a doctor. Gets a morale bonus from decor. Yeah, I guess we'll be up to 6, and that's probably all I'm going to get for a while. To be quite honest with you. Oh, we need to put her on the other schedule. Sorry, Jean, but you're going on that schedule. So you're going to be up for a while. Eventually, I'll add another pod of 4. So eventually I'll get to 8, and then I'll add another pod of 4. And I'll have 3 shifts of 4 per shift. And that's usually about where I stop with the dupes. Oh, and what kind of hat should we give the new one? What kind of hat should Jean get? Well, we'll give Jean the farming hat, because she just learned how to farm. You notice it's in a sterile atmosphere. So the food is really not decaying. That's a huge, huge benefit of putting it in this little CO2 trap. And in fact, if you look at the germs, there's hardly any on here. Yes, you're right. You can kill them with chlorine, and in fact, later on in the game, I will actually create a spot like this that's wide enough for about 3 of these, and have ladders over the top, tiles over the top with a double airlock, and I'll use actually a water lock, and I'll show you how that works when we get to that point. And that water lock will allow me to keep chlorine in one area right around the ration boxes, and then you don't have to worry at all. There'll be absolutely no germs whatsoever. Exactly. I don't use refrigerators at all. I think they're a waste of they're a complete and utter waste. to use refrigerators. Alright, I got the mesh tile, which I don't really care about. Got my lavatory. That's the piece I was going for here. Alright, so next I want to research. Where am I at here? What do we got going on? Let's get into the ranching already. Here shortly, in a little while, I may have to go and get my dog. I don't know yet, so okay. I'm waiting to hear back. So I may have to cut this stream off here in about 15 or 20 minutes, so I can go get my dog. But if that's the case, we'll pick it up. We'll pick it up on another day, and I'll leave this base as is. This base will be solely done here on stream. We won't do it any other time. So, and those of you who want to follow along are going to be able to do exactly that. Got a few people sleeping. We're building up there. We're going to have to dig that out. Algae's good, coal is good, dirt is phenomenal, fertilizer's again kind of low. Is this fertilizer? That is fertilizer. So let's go ahead and dig this one more space bigger. So I was just given a suggestion. I kind of like it. So here's Gene. That's kind of nice. Looking at my people. So I was just giving a suggestion that we might actually give people some stupid little names, and kind of like that as we figure out who's going to be what and who's going to do what a little bit more efficiently. We'll give them stupid little nicknames. Probably not going to use the one that you suggested. But I do like the idea of stupid little nicknames. So, like we could take Frankie here. Actually, this kind of makes sense. If we took Frankie here, because I don't like the name Frankie. Let's call him Bob the Builder, since he's going to be a builder. Oh, Construction Steve-O. That's another good one. I do love me some Construction Steve-O. Alright, let's go ahead and dig that out so that the egg falls in the water. And we'll keep going with our ladder. you'll notice I'm trying to avoid these other biomes. I'm trying to stick with just the starting biome and these algae biomes at first. Ooh, eggshells. We want to make sure we capture those somewhere. So let's go ahead and create a storage bin specifically for eggshells. It's one of the best sources of lime in the game, which you need to create steel. And steel is going to be super important. So the only thing that I want to put in here is eggshells. How we doing on getting close to critter? Who is going to be our rancher? It's going to be Gene. We got a ways to go, Gene. But let's go, honey. All right, where's Gene? Where is she? Are you Gene? Stop moving! Where in the heck is Gene? Maria Nails. There's Gene. Oh man. So she's gonna be the rancher, so we're gonna call her. Excellent. Steve Gene Irwin. Build faster. Some salt water over there. I also found a nifty little. Ooh, there we go. Ice. This is gonna be important. I may actually end up building my water filtration up here instead. I found a nifty little trick too to find out what. So here we know right here's neutronium. So we know up here there's going to be some sort of a vent. So one thing I figured out is if you can do this, and that's going to be a gold volcano. So I can know before I unearth this what it is. And then I can decide when I want to unearth it. And in fact, what I do then is I'm going to mark as a 1 because that's not something that I'm super interested in unearthing right away. So that's a little tip that for those of you starting out that may or may not help you out here. Snooze that, don't care. Alright, got that. We're good here, we're good there, we're building up. I'm gonna end up having to try and dig through this crap. That's gonna be difficult. Unless I dig over into the ice, but I don't really want to waste any of the ice yet. So I'm going to use that to cool my water later on in the game. Oxygen's looking real good. all kinds of fish in here for me to start with. Oh yeah, this will be great. I do think it's just about time, though. I'm going to go a double battery and a Jenny. We're going to set up this bathroom. Get this here bathroom set up real quick, and then I'm probably gonna have to go get the dog and wrap up the stream here, which is okay. In there. Out there. Alright, well, I just got confirmation that I am going to need to go get the dog. So at this point, I'm going to have to go ahead and wrap up the stream for this evening. So thank you for coming by. I will absolutely pick up the stream again right from this point in this base. We're going to go ahead and do a little save and quit. And we'll pick it up right from this point, and next time we will continue on, and we will keep on building and keep on making this here playthrough and walkthrough, and hopefully you've learned something and you find some interesting tips and tricks. But if not, hopefully you just had a good time, because in reality that's what it's all about, is having a good time. So let's see if there's anything worth it. Oh, I'm taking the dirt. So at this point, I'm going to say good evening to everybody. We're going to give this a little pause. We're going to give this a little save. And we're going to give this a little quit. Y'all have a good evening. I'm going to find someone to raid real quick. And I will see you next time.